नमः सर्वेभ्यः। कक्षायां स्वागतं। प्रार्थनया प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः, गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म, तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि, विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। हरि ओं तत्सत्। गतकक्ष्यान्ते अस्माभिः भारतीयदर्शनानि इत्यस्मिन् उपभागे तत्र किं ज्ञातं, तत्र तात्विकचिन्तनम् एव दर्शनम् इति। ते वेदानन्तरं रचिता दर्शितानि दर्शनम् इति रचितानि इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः। तत्र वेदं प्रमाणेन स्वीकुर्वन्ति यानि तानि आस्तिकानि इति वदामः। आस्तिकानि, वेदः सत्यं वदति इति ये स्वीकुर्वन्ति यानि तानि आस्तिकदर्शनानि। अन्ये च सन्ति नास्तिकदर्शनानि इति, वेदप्रामाण्यं न स्वीकुर्वन्ति। तत्र देवः अस्ति, देवः इति न वदामः, देवः इति पृथक् किमपि, परमात्मा अथवा ब्रह्मा अस्ति इति केचन, नास्ति इति केचन वदेयुः। परन्तु तेन आस्तिकत्वं नास्तिकत्वं नास्ति। भारतीयसम्प्रदाये वेदप्रामाण्यस्वीकारेण आस्तिकत्वं भवति, वेदप्रामाण्यस्य अस्वीकारेण नास्तिकत्वं भवति। नास्तिक दर्शनेषु चार्वाकदर्शनमेव प्रप्रथमम् उच्यते। किमित्युक्ते तत्र षडाधिकविधाः प्रमाणानि सन्ति। प्रत्यक्षम्, अनुमानम्, उपमानम्, एवम् अग्रे शाब्दम् इति। शाब्दम् इत्यत्र पूर्वतन ऋषिभिः यद् लिखितमस्ति, यथा दृष्टमस्ति, यथा वेदग्रन्थानि, तेषां स्वीकारः अपि शाब्दम् इति। शाब्दप्रमाणम् अन्ते, शब्दप्रमाणम् अन्ते भवति। अग्रिममस्ति प्रत्यक्षप्रमाणम् इति, यद् अस्माभिः साक्षात् दृश्यते वा, श्रूयते वा, स्पृश्यते वा, यत् किमपि इन्द्रियैः, तत् साक्षात्कारः यद् भवति तत् प्रत्यक्षप्रमाणम् इति वदामः। चार्वाकानां मते प्रत्यक्षप्रमाणमेव स्वीकृतमस्ति। यत् दृश्यते तदेव, अपि च जीवने कर्म धर्म इति किमपि बृहत् नास्ति। भोगवादे ते पतिताः, अर्थात् इदानीं जगति प्रायः वयं बहवः चार्वाकाः एव। केवल एवं दर्शनाय अत्र तत्र किञ्चित् वयं धार्मिकाः इति प्रायः भवामः, परन्तु आधिक्येन चार्वाकाः एव वयम् इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः। यद्यपि न सर्वे तथा, बहवः सन्ति ये धार्मिकाः अपि। अस्तु, चार्वाकदर्शनं। बृहस्पतिः यः देवानां गुरुः आसीत्, सः एव राक्षसान्, अत्र जनान् इति सूचितमस्ति, राक्षसान् मोहयितुं दर्शनस्य बोधः कृतवान् इति दृश्यते। आन् भगिन्या अपि प्रेषितं, कस्मिन्नपि उपनिषदि तद् स्थापितमस्ति, कस्यामपि उपनिषदि तत् स्थापितमस्ति, तादृश उक्तिः बृहस्पतेः। अस्तु, तदनन्तरं जैनदर्शनं। भारतदेशे तु बहवः दार्शनिकाः सन्ति। तेषु जिनः, आदिमजिनः अस्ति महावीरः इति, यः अपि च अन्तिमतीर्थङ्करः अपि, ऋषभदेवः इति प्रप्रथमतीर्थङ्करः। प्रायः जैनदर्शनं ततः आरब्धम् इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः। अन्तिमतीर्थङ्करः अस्ति महावीरः, महान् राजा आसीत् एषः। तेन इन्द्रियजयः प्राप्तः इति, सः जिनः इति, सर्वं जितः एषः जिनः इति, तु तेन जैनदर्शनम् इति, जैनधर्मं, जैनदर्शनम् एवमेव अभवत्। जैनधर्मः, जैनदर्शनम् एवम् अभवत्। तेषु तात्विकचिन्तनम् एवं भवति, सम्यक् दर्शनं, सम्यक् ज्ञानं, सम्यक् चारित्र्यम्. Okay, to see and understand the right things and to behave that way. Very proper. 3 ways you can say that. Ratnatrayam, they consider that. So, yeah, it's very much in the lineage of dharmic principles. But they don't accept Vedic pramana. They also don't give extreme pradhanya to this Ishvara Tattva. They believe their Tirthankaras and their Jinas are their supreme this thing. They see themselves as the Devas, you can say. Okay. Bauddha Darshanam Bhagavata Buddhena प्रवर्तितं सिद्धार्थः इति एषः राजा आसीत् तत्र उत्तरप्रदेशे तस्मिन् उत्तरे अपि नेपालप्रदेशेषु एषः राजा आसीत् राजा इति नासीत् सः प्रायः राजकुमारः आसीत् यदा तेन किञ्चित् सर्वत्र दुःखप्रसरणं दृष्ट्वा वैराग्यं प्राप्तं बुद्धः इति अभवत् सः बहु चिन्तनं कृत्वा बौद्धमतं स्थापितवान् बौद्धदर्शनं तस्मिन् मते ये वरिष्ठाः बहु तात्विकविचारान् लिखितवन्तः तेषाम् आहत्य बौद्धदर्शनम् इति तेषु अपि किञ्चित् भेदाः सन्ति वैभाषिकाः सौत्रान्तिकाः योगाचाराः माध्यमिकाः इति आहत्य lot of commonalities but there are some distinctions also. Okay, so then another keyword is Shunyavada. Shunyavada is a prasiddha. Sarvam Shunyam eva. Tripitakam iti tesham pradhana grantha. Tripitakam. So that is very important construct. Okay. Vaisheshika Darshanam is what we have to read today. So let me invite someone to read it for us. If you have a hand up, I will call you. Anybody? Yeah, Kumuda Kannan, please read the Vaisheshika Darshanam.
Vaisheshika Darshanam Sakala Darshanapekshaya Vaisheshika Darshanam Prachinam Darshanam etat sarva shastropakarakam asti. You want me to stop, sir?
No. I think unless what we will avoid is if somebody has a problem, because very obvious, very simple sentences. So we will avoid translating because now I think we are good enough to get the meaning. So go ahead, Bhagini.
Etasya darshanasya pravartakaha kanadaha.
Pravartana means the one who initiated it. That's initiated. Kanadaha. So Kanadasya Vaisheshika Darshanam.
Kashyapa Vamshotpannaha Eshaha Kashyapaha Ityapi Khyataha.
Like we call Rama as Raghava, same way. Kashyapa Vamsha, so Kashyapaha. Kashyapasya Gotrapatyam Puman Kashyapaha iti.
Eta darshanasya chintanasya न्याय दर्शन चिंतनस्य च विशेष भेदः न दृश्यते.
So actually we always pair this astika darshanas. Nyaya and Vaisheshika are taken in one bracket. Yoga and Sankhya are taken in another bracket. Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa, roughly, which is Vedic Saramshas in two different views, they are taken as another bracketed pair. So 6 of them, remember. Okay, Sankhya Yoga, Vaisheshika, Nyaya Vaisheshika, and then Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. Okay, which also Uttara Mimamsa is also called Brahma Sutra, etc. Anyway, continue, Bhagini.
लोके स्थिताः पदार्थाः सप्तधा विभक्ताः अत्र. एतस्य दर्शनस्य मुख्यं प्रतिपाद्यं निःश्रेयसं मोक्षः. पदार्थाः निःश्रेयस साधनभूताः.
So the argument of this Vaisheshika is that it tries to categorize the objects of this world into 7 categories, and basically the argument of this darshana is that all these padarthas that are available to us, we are also born into this world. So basically they ask question as to why am I, right? So why am I and what are these things? So the argument of Vaisheshika is this, that these vastus are there for our progress only, and what is our goal is Nishreyasam. Nishreyasam
Moksha.
literally means to achieve that permanent top status of not being in this body. Okay, that is called Nishreyasam, not being in the life and death circle. Okay, right. So this is not Swarga. Swarga is always considered, Swarga is just like there is heaven and other terms in other religions. There is also a comparable layer called Swarga. But the argument of the learned is that that is just a illusion. It is temporary. That is not the final happiness, state of happiness. It will only lead to rebirth later. So please don't desire such a Swarga. Ask for moksha, which is sakshat, lean, Bhagavan, to be merged into the Brahma, that kind of thing. So, Nishreyasa sadhana bhutaha. So, all these 7 categories of items, they are all instruments for us to obtain that mukti. That is the argument. Interesting. Anyway, this is a very sankshepa view. So, that is enough for us now. Thanks, Bhagini. Well read.
धन्यवादः.
Yeah. Vijay Agnihotri Varya. Nyaya
आं
Darshanam.
महोदय, न्यायदर्शनं न्यायदर्शनस्य प्रवर्तकः सूत्रकारः गौतमः। अन्यानि शास्त्राणि इव एतत् अपि प्राचीने काले मोक्षशास्त्रत्वेन एव प्रसिद्धम् आसीत्।
So this, I mean, basically all the Astika Darshanas technically argue about moksha only. There are no two ways about them arguing anything else, right? They follow that common principle that this is a what you call Martya Loka. What we are living is a world of deaths and cycle of death and birth. And by doing the right things and obtaining the jnana that such a thing is temporary, you can become one with your Atma's Brihat Rupa, which is Brahma. That is what is the argument. So rather than say they are all arguing about God, etc., this Brahma Tattva is something little beyond even just mere God. It is that is actually, you are an element of that, is the distinction in the Sanatana Dharma. Continues.
चतुर्दशे शतके गङ्गेशोपाध्यायः एतत् पृथक् शास्त्रत्वेन वर्धितवान्।
So as recently as 14th century, about 700 plus years ago, Gangesha Upadhyaya sounds like a Vanga Pradesha Pravartaka. So he brought it to much further fore by assigning a Shastratva. Nyaya Darshana is also having a Nyaya Shastra variant. In fact, you read further. Yeah.
ततः तत् नवीन न्यायः इति ख्यातम्।
So it became known as the new Nyaya, whatever he proposed. Actually, he almost made extremely scientific methodology of deriving truth and falsehoods by principles of, inference using technical sentences. Just like we explain samasa with vigraha vakya, etc., the same way are other things. So he created the science of denoting and deriving things. So you can call it a very mathematical approach to proving things. Okay, proofing or proving things. So that's what is the Navina Nyaya. Yeah.
यद्यपि वैशेषिक दर्शनस्य न्याय दर्शनस्य च सूक्ष्मः भेदः अस्ति, तथापि इदानीं तयोः अभेदः एव इति परिगण्यते।
Though there seems to be subtle differences between Vaisheshika and Nyaya, many consider them as really bracketable, which are kind of two sides of the same coin type of argument. Yeah, continues.
न्याय दर्शने ज्ञान मीमांसायाः प्रमाणानां च प्राशस्त्यम् अस्ति, ज्ञानात् मुक्तिः इति प्रतिपादयति एतत् दर्शनम्।
So Nyaya's argument is that knowledge, basically this scientific knowledge obtained through such proofs itself is the way to nirvana or mukti. Many words are there for that status. Yeah.
एतस्मिन् दर्शने ईश्वरः अनुमानेन साध्यते.
So Ishvara himself is pushed in the Nyaya to Anumana, that we don't have, you cannot conclude we have a Pratyaksha Pramana for this, because it is extremely individual. Even if experientially one obtains the Tattva of Ishvara or Brahma or whatever you call it, Ishvara here is not to be confused with Shiva. Shiva as Ishvara is a different connotation, it's a Puranic connotation. So this one, basically we call that Brahma in different ways in different matas. So Vaishnavites call him Vishnu, Shaivites call him Ishvara, etc. like that. But in the Vedanta, he is called Brahma, not the Chaturmukha Brahma. He is the Nirguna Atava Sarvaguna Brahma. You can call it Nirguna Brahma. Okay, so that is the thing. So Anumanena, see, so even Nyaya Shastra itself argues you can only infer him, you can't directly experience him. Interesting. Continue. Oh, sorry, that's your section. Thanks, Varya. Well read. Anju Pandit.
नमस्ते महोदय.
Huh.
साङ्ख्यदर्शनम्. साङ्ख्यदर्शनस्य आद्यः आचार्यः कपिलः. तेन प्रवर्तितं साङ्ख्यदर्शनं कीदृशम् इति इदानीं न ज्ञायते.
So we don't have the argument here. This is a little controversial. There is an argument that we don't actually have the original Sankhya Darshana, just like we don't have any Charvaka Darshana as a treatise. We don't have any direct inference of Sankhya Darshana. We only know it through references from other Darshanikas who quoted Sankhya statements and countered it with their own arguments, right? So the same way that we get Charvaka statements in detail is as a reference from other Darshanas. Sankhya is also, original Sankhya at least, is known that way. But there have been recreated Sankhya Darshana text available today, which is not very recent. This is also quite ancient. We are still talking millennia. But for us, we believe these originals were multi-millennia ago. So that's the argument. But we do know the Pravartakas, Gautama for Nyaya, Kapila for Sankhya, etc. like that. So remember these Pravartakas names, okay? Sutrakara, Acharya, whatever you want to call it.
यतः एतद् दर्शनग्रन्थाः सर्वे लुप्ताः आसन्.
Lupta means lost.
ईश्वरकृष्णः नाम पण्डितः कारिकां पुनः निर्माय एतद् दर्शनम् उज्जीवितवान्.
So there is a text called Sankhya Karika. It's in verse form. This Sankhya Karika is now treated by Pandits as the major rejuvenation of the Sankhya Darshana is how it is seen, not the later reintroduction of Sankhya Darshana text.
साङ्ख्यदर्शने प्रकृतिः पुरुषः च चेति मूलतत्त्वद्वयम्.
So at the pinnacle, actually 25 objects are identified by Sankhya Darshana. The pinnacle of those 25 objects is Prakriti and Purusha. Basically, you can call this Prakriti and Purusha in a very loose manner as the masculine and the feminine. Prakriti being the feminine element and Purusha being the masculine element. This we cannot counter argue in the conscious and the living lives of this Mother Earth, whether it be basic plants or complex plants and basic animals or complex animals. Somewhere you see this distinction of the masculine feminine entities, though it is in more primitive life you don't see anything like that. You will have to go down to DNA level to conclude masculinity, femininity, etc. So but we do see that in higher evolutions. So Sankhya concludes at the pinnacle of the 25 objects is Prakriti and Purusha. And Prakriti sometimes is, this Mother Earth is called Prakriti and Paramatma himself is called Purusha, but that is a little bit more Vedantic view. Here in Sankhya, it is simply the feminist and the feminine and the masculine aspects. Okay, you can call it as even sometimes body and Atma also. You can see the duality right down to that. But what is before that in the 25 elements is all the way from Pancha, 5 elements like, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and then Prithvi, no, we call it um, Bhumi only. Okay. So this, and then, sense organs, and then the five elements are sensed. They have particular characteristics. Those five characteristics, all those, and slowly comes to the count 25, including Buddhi, Chitta. All those things are residing in the 21st, 22nd, etc. position, and Ahankara also resides there, and then Prakriti, Purusha come in the last two. Continue, Varya.
तथा एव जगतः उत्पत्तिः प्रकृतिः जडा पुरुषः चेतनः पुरुषसम्बन्धात् प्रकृतौ क्रिया प्रकृति पुरुष भिन्नम् ईश्वरं न अङ्गीकरोति सांख्यदर्शनम्.
So this is, of course, arguable. Some argue that Sankhya Darshana is not trying to have any definition of Ishvara, and Purusha is where it stops. But you can say the Parama Purusha and the Parama Prakriti entity may be inferred also.
इदानीं विविधानि वेदान्त चिन्तनानि
Chintanani.
इदानीं विविधानि वेदान्तचिन्तनानि यानि दृश्यन्ते तेषु सर्वेषु सांख्यदर्शनस्य प्रभावः अस्ति एव.
Yeah, so now if you take all this Shankara proposal, Ramanuja proposal, many others, lots of derivative proposals of interpretation of the Darshanika Mata, which are all called Vedantic Darshanas. But you can largely see for explanatory purposes, they refer themselves to the Sankhya views. So Sankhya, you can call it as the mother of all these other Tattva Darshanas. Yeah.
वैद्यशास्त्रे अपि एतस्य प्रभावः दृश्यते.
This is something I also don't know. It's interesting that Vaidya Shastre Sankhya Darshanasya Prabhava. Basically, it is due to that Prakriti and Purusha element is there, in our Vaidya Shastra. It is very much there. Thanks, Vari. Who else? Okay, we have Dr. Seema Hardikar.
Yes, sir. Yoga Darshanam ati prachinam Maharshina Patanjalina Yoga Sutrani Rachitani.
So Patanjalihi, here it is in Tritiya. Kshamita. So his name is Patanjalihi. Okay. Patat Anjalihi Yasya Saha Patanjalihi. One who had a Namaskara Mudra.
Okay. Yoga Darshanam Ishvara Tattvam Angi Karoti. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha Iti Vadati Yoga Sutram.
Almost the first, maybe the second sutra. Okay. So actually, all of you will do well to read the first chapter of Yoga Darshana. It's brilliant. The sutras there are very, very beautiful. After that, it becomes deeper and deeper. But first chapter, every sentence is gold.
Okay. Yama Niyamadayah Yogasya Asht Angani.
So Ashtanga Yoga, it's not 8 limbs of the body or anything. Though there is in the physical yoga, those things are also argued. Ashtanga here refers to the way of life. Way Yama, Niyama. Yama means control. Niyama, basically rules and regulations that one has to follow are also included here. How we have to live in a yogic way is also talked much about. It's not just about, Prarthana, Aradhya, more than that. Yeah.
Bhagavad Gitayam api Jnana Yoga
Tata Yogasya Paramam Bhagini Yogasya Paramam Prayojanam.
Okay. Yogasya Paramam Prayojanam Kaivalyam.
So it uses the word Kaivalya for moksha. Kaivalya means Kevala Bhavaha. That means a kind of singularity. You can call it the feeling of singularity. That is Kaivalyam.
ओके भगवद्गीतायाम् अपि ज्ञानयोगभक्तियोगादयः सरलया शैल्या रमणीयतया निरूपिताः सन्ति.
So we sometimes treat sections of Bhagavad Gita as Pravartaka of Yoga Darshana only. So that's what they have brought it out here. In Krishna's words, we do see a lot of Yoga Shastra or Yoga Darshana theories.
Yeah. ज्ञानयोग भक्तियोगादयः सरलया शैल्या रमणीयतया निरूपिताः सन्ति. आसनानि अपि योगस्य लघु अङ्गम्. सामान्याः जनाः अपि योगदर्शनस्य केषाञ्चित् तत्त्वानाम् अनुसरणतः जीवनपरिष्कारं प्राप्तुम् अर्हन्ति.
Very nice. So, asanas are in the original Yoga Darshana of Patanjali, they are mentioned. I mean, really, literally, almost like one sutra refers to this asana part of Prarthana Prakriya. But always know that everything need not have been written down, right? So the asana, physical asanas that we have plenty of, they were a practice from guru to shishya, like that. They were very much a practice that carried through guru shishya parampara. Later, as more pictorial printed books etc started appearing, you can argue that as they started appearing, you can argue that they got committed to textbook also, so that you necessarily didn't have to have a physical guru shishya parampara. But it's best done through guru shishya parampara, because if you do it the wrong way, it can result in you needing to go to hospital. So yeah, so even common people, by following the yoga darshana, they can definitely improve. I mean, there is no two ways about it. Meditation is a masterful technique of quietening your brain. It's like in a self-therapy. Okay.
Mahodaya.
Thanks, Dr. Hardikar Varye. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
What is the question?
Darshanas are available in book form in our
Yes. They are available as original Sanskrit verses with vyakhyanas. I would recommend you to go with a little bit older texts that are available on archive.org. Some of the modern ones try to pull it. For example, if you they try to put their own viewpoints etc too much. Some of the ancient vyakhyakas were a little bit more honest.
So what is the site you said? Archives.com.
Archive.org contains the scanned version of all the ancient Indian granthas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, you can go to there are some specific portals that actually Chaukamba and other publications, they have some ancient prints that still they continue to reprint, and those who like physical books, they can obtain from them some of these ancient ones. But some of the early prints which are beyond copyright, they have been scanned and kept. Yeah. Okay, who else now? Ananta Lakshmi Varye. Okay, she's not able to unmute, I think. Chitra ji.
Can
Huh.
I read now? Sir?
Let Chitra ji read Ananta Lakshmi Varye. You please stand by.
Yeah. पूर्वमीमांसा दर्शनम मीमांसा दर्शनस्य प्रवर्तकः जैमिनिः.
So this word Mimamsa means basically, technically, analyzing. You can take some meaning like that. Mimamsa as analysis. So, okay, don't get confused with the Mamsa Shabda and think of something else. So there is a dhatu behind this. You look for that dhatu.
मीमांसा नाम जिज्ञासा चिन्तनम इति अर्थः.
Here only they have given. See, Chintanam. So, yeah.
मीमांसा दर्शनम वेदस्य परमप्रामाण्यम अंगीकरोति.
So here, though the Purva Mimamsa, sometimes we just use Purva Mimamsa, we just call it Mimamsa, and Uttara Mimamsa, we tend to call it Vedanta. Okay, so that's why they're simply using Mimamsa everywhere. always when you just say Mimamsa, it means Purva Mimamsa. Okay, that is something important to know. So obviously it's a Astika Darshana, so Vedasya Parama Pramanyam Asti Eva. In fact, it is very close to the Veda Pramanya only, and it's about the karma. Karmanga, that's what it argues that all the fire rituals, etc., as ordained by Veda, they are the highest activities. That's the direction it takes. Anyway, go ahead, Bhagini.
वेदस्य पूर्वभागभूतान् ब्राह्मणग्रन्थान् ये स्वदर्शनस्य परमाधारं भावितवन्तः ते पूर्वमीमांसकाराः जाताः.
Okay, so these Brahmana texts are actually about Vedic rituals, the fire rituals and the water-based rituals, etc., like that. So this Purva Mimamsa is really actually focusing on giving a way of life around those principles of conducting, yajna, yaga, etc., and doing the associated dharma. Every yajna, yaga was an opportunity for dharma. So the haves would distribute to the have-nots through that mechanism. Yeah.
वेदस्य उत्तरभागभूताः उपनिषदः ये स्वदर्शनस्य परमाधारं भावितवन्तः ते उत्तरमीमांसकाराः इति प्रसिद्धं गताः.
So those who more followed the physical fire ritual details of Veda, which is the the Samhita and Brahmana, Samhita recital and following the Brahmana procedures to conduct those various yaga, yajna, etc. Those were Purva Mimamsakaras. But those who more focused on the Tattvika Darshana part of the Veda, which is Vedanta, Upanishads, what they argue, what they talk about Brahma Tattva, Jiva, Brahma, Mrityu, all those difficult to address subjects are addressed in the Upanishads. So those are called Vedanta because they're the kind of last parts of Veda, we call them. So those that more followed the Jnana Marga through the Vedanta, they are called Uttara Mimamsakaraha. They are also about Vedic texts only, but more about the latter Jnana Kanda part. The Karma Kanda part, which is the Samhita Brahmana, is focus of Purva Mimamsakaras.
मीमांसा दर्शने कर्मणः एव परमप्राधान्यम्.
पूर्वमीमांसा दर्शने एव.
मीमांसा दर्शने वेदार्थ ज्ञानार्थ विशेष प्राधान्यं दत्तमस्ति.
वेदार्थस्य ज्ञानार्थम् अथवा वेदार्थानां ज्ञानार्थम्. ओके, वेदार्थ ज्ञानार्थम कर्म. Okay, for that purpose, basically it is a chaturthi placement using artha shabda. Vishesha pradhanyam dattam asti. Special emphasis is on the basically inferring the Vedic sentences to how they have to be inferred, so that what activities have to be carried out. How basically trying to show the language interpretation, because Veda uses very, very old Samskritam, and sometimes some of the lakaras are used in a different way than what is ordained in Paninian Shastra. So this I think 1000 odd various example based demonstration of inferencing is there in Purva Mimamsa.
वेदः शब्द प्रमाणेन न्यायते इति वदति एतद् दर्शनम्. वेदस्य अपौरुषेयत्वम् अपि एतद् दर्शनं प्रतिपादयति.
So the strong belief is that Vedas are actually words of the very Brahma himself, and that it was known through the drishtaras, basically the rishis. The rishis, through their pathway we obtained them. So, but they are apaurusheya. The rishis are only mediums. They are not the creators, is the strong belief. So we believe this is what you call beyond human, the tattva that is there. Okay, it's a viewpoint. All right. So thanks, Bhagini. And Anantalakshmi Variya, you can try now.
उत्तरमीमांसा दर्शनम् उत्तरमीमांसा नाम वेदान्तः उपनिषदाम् आधारेण अत्र चिन्तनं क्रियते वेदान्तदर्शने चिन्तनस्य पराकाष्ठा दृश्यते
Parakashta means extreme high level. Okay. So Parakashta, basically the supreme level thought process.
वेदान्तदर्शने प्रस्थानत्रयम् अस्ति
So there is a
ब्रह्मसूत्रम्
concept of prasthanatraya. Okay, basically a threefold, you can say 3-layer also, potentially 3-layer pursuit of knowledge.
ब्रह्मसूत्राणि भगवद्गीता उपनिषदः च प्रस्थानत्रय शब्देन निर्दिश्यन्ते.
So it doesn't mean this like when I mentioned prasthanatraya, it doesn't jnana. When I use the word jnana, jnana has a different connotation in Samskrita. So we call everything that is required for the present life, the bodily needs and present life and its progress as vijnana. And jnana shabda is kind of exclusively set aside as a standalone word, more for the paramarthika jnana, for the knowledge of the ultimate. So that so when we say here jnana, prasthanatraya, these 3 layers for towards jnana, it is for the paramarthika jnana, not for the nija jivana. In fact, yoga darshana, nyaya shastras, these are all nija jivana also is very much addressed in them. Vardhan, I'm in a class. I will call you back later. So that's what here it means. Continue, Bhagini.
विविधाः आचार्याः एतेषां ब्रह्मसूत्रादीनां भाष्यं स्वचिन्तनानुगुणं लिखितवन्तः.
So basically, this is where you're using these 3 primary paramarthika knowledge granthas, Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishad. Of these 3, Bhagavad Gita is the most accessible to people like us. Upanishad, some of them are quite accessible, some of them are very tough. With Vyakhyana, we can access. Brahma Sutra is like, oh my God, I mean, it's difficult because one small sutra is taken into reams of interpretation, etc. It's really for those who have climbed the pinnacle of knowledge to pursue Brahma Sutra, Vyakhyanas, etc. But all these various Vedantic Mata Pravartakas, okay, whether it be Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhvas, and others, all of Madhvacharya, all of them, they have worked on these 3. Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad in a deep way. What they have done is they have tried to infer it in their own viewpoint, and that viewpoint has concluded into those subsects of thoughts, you can say. But collectively, there is not much difference. There is a lot of commonality and some differentiation, which unnecessarily is highlighted by people because we started, dividing ourselves more than unifying ourselves. Continue, Bhagini.
ततः अद्वैतं द्वैतं विशिष्टाद्वैतम् इत्यादयः सम्प्रदायाः प्रवृत्ताः.
Advaitam means there is no non-duality. Dvaitam means there is duality. Vishishtadvaitam means there is non-duality, but there is actually some distinction like this.
वेदान्तशास्त्रे पारलौकिकचिन्तनं यथा तथैव ऐहलौकिकचिन्तनम् अपि ऐहलौकिकचिन्तनम् अपि विशेषतः क्रियते.
So Vedanta Shastra, you can conclude largely is about Paralaukika Chintanam or that Paramatmika Chintanam like that. But Aihalaukika Chintanam is not excluded. That is also included. Basically, just as Yoga Darshana talks about Yama, Niyama and all are very much about current life. So, yeah.
भारतीयं सामान्यं जनजीवनं साहित्यं भाषा इत्यादिषु सर्वेषु अपि वेदान्तस्य प्रभावः विशेषतः दृश्यते.
So Vedanta matas have taken the dominant position in the thought processes. So we focused, we are based on this. That's what. And one word that is not, one sentence that is not there in the textbook is Pravartakaha Badarayana Vyasaha. So just as we know Patanjali, Kapilaha, Gautamaha, Jaimini, Badarayana Vyasa, okay, is the Pravartaka of Uttara Mimamsa Darshanam, is the conclusion. Okay.
Namaste, Bharati. Aiha Laukika.
Aiha Laukika Chintanam is Iha Aiha.
Okay, Iha.
Iha Lokam Aiha Laukikam.
Vriddhi.
Vriddhi. Yeah, it is a Taddita.
Astu.
I also don't know all the pratyas involved, but you can see the Iha Shabda going to Aiha, Loka Shabda going to Laukika.
महोदय बादरायण ब्रह्मसूत्रस्य प्रवर्तकः अस्ति वा?
हाँ, correct. Actually, Brahma Sutra, I don't know where they never mentioned Brahma Sutra anywhere. Actually,
No,
they did.
Brahmasutrani,
Brahma
Bhagavad Gita.
Sutrani. They didn't mention that Brahma Sutra itself is considered as the singular Uttara Mimamsa Darshanam at the pinnacle. But really, the Uttara Mimamsa, you can extend it to more than just Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra being the pinnacle, but Bhagavad Gita, which is more accessible to even simpletons like us, and Upanishad, some of which are also very accessible to us. Okay, Brahma Sutra is difficult to.
Badarayana and Vyasa are the same people. What? He's just got a second name.
Badarayana is his Visheshana.
So what does it mean, Badarayana?
Badari Kshetriya iti prayah Badarayana. I don't know. Some Taddita. Badari Kshetriya Badarayana iti syat. If you go, basically,
Vaishampanya.
Yeah, see, yeah, correct. Krishna Dvaipayanaha, Badarayanaha, Vaishampayanaha, like this, there are many Vyasas. Yeah, correct. Okay. Thanks, Bhagini. Well done.
Mahodaya, it is given here Badarayanaha iti Bhagavataha Vedavyasasya aparam nama.
Oh, it is there, huh? I missed
In the
it in
next
the
page, sir, in the next page. Like
No,
they are
look.
giving about Sutrakaras, in that they have given.
Oh, in that, okay. We will see there. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Thanks, Bhagini, for the look ahead. So we'll get some clarity ahead.
Actually, I was noting down and all the Pravartakatas naam, I couldn't get this one. So I searched for that in that. So I got it. I made a tabular form.
Very good.
So there I got it.
Thank
you, Mahodaya.
So like there is this Vedantic schools we talked about. I have a visual for this, this Kevala Advaita or just Advaita is the term technically used. Nowadays we have prefix with Kevala because there are so many Advaitas. So Shankaracharya, actually 7th century. So he predates all these other guys largely as far as I know. Okay. And so, his commentaries and other commentaries of what they've done, they have specific names. So, yeah. So you can see. So, Kevala Advaita, Shuddha Advaita, Bheda Bheda, Achintya Bheda Veda, Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita Advaita, Dvaita Advaita, variant, I guess. And then Dvaita. Interesting. But in where I am residing in the current southern regions, Shankara, basically Advaita, Vishishta Advaita of Ramanuja, and Madhava's, Madhvacharyas Dvaita, they seem to be dominant variants. There are others which are in different regions. Yes, Bhagini?
ISKCON follows Madhvacharya.
I'm not sure. I think they follow another northern branch.
But their original proponent is Madhvacharya.
Dvaita philosophy, is that? Okay. Okay, all right. Okay. So we have some more reading to do. And we have Niranjana. You got a chance to read?
No, sir. I've been absent the last two.
Please read this. Yeah.
धन्यवादः. भारतीयदर्शनानां विकासः. भारतीयदर्शनानां विकासः स्तरत्रये भवति इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः. महात्मा कश्चन ऋषिः परमात्मा साक्षात्कारम् आध्यात्मिकानुभवं वा मन्त्ररूपेण अभिव्यञ्जयति प्रकटयति.
So first a rishi sees this paramatmic truth, and he using mantras he is expressing them to the loka.
एषा प्रथमा आविर्भावावस्था.
Okay. Avirbhava means genesis. The status of the genetic. I mean, this is the first janma of this thing.
ततः अन्यः महात्मा गद्यरूपाणि सूत्राणि रचयित्वा पद्यरूपाः कारिकाः रचयित्वा वा एकां दार्शनिकपद्धतिं प्रतिष्ठापयति.
So a certain great person, Mahatma, he further creates sutra granthas, karikas, etc. and proposes them as darshanika paddhati. Basically, they try to summarize the overall statement of the mantras of hundreds of pravartakas, rishis from Veda. So Veda is not like one congruent flow, because it is not single genetics. It has the darshanika, I mean basically the what you call the sakshatkaras of many rishis are represented in complex ways in ancient mantras. So these Mahatmas, they try to derive Darshana Granthas as the Tattva of the Vedas in their own way. And of course with certain non-overlapping focus. So Yoga Shastra focuses on meditation, like this. Nyaya and Vaisheshika focuses on derivative methods. Sankhya focuses on Vastu Vicharana. Okay, like this. There is some non-overlapping foci, though there are a lot of commonalities, because they are all trying to talk about this ultimate Purushartha, which is moksha in the end.
एषा द्वितीयावस्था.
So darshanas are the second state. First state is the Vedic mantras. Yeah.
ततः एतेषां विवरणं वृत्तिवार्तिकादि द्वारा प्रचलति.
So then, people write vrittis and vartikas. That means they try to explain the sutras, which are quite tough because they're very compact. And then vartikas means addendums and corrigendums to the sutras. You will see this very typically in, for example, in Vyakarana. Panini is the Sutrakara. Vartikakara is, one more person. Katyayana, thanks. And then Patanjali is the Bhashyakara, which we're going to talk about next. Continue, Bhagini.
Sir, somebody is at the door, so excuse me.
Oh, sorry. Please take a break. I will ask Chitrarekha to continue. Chitrarekha? Chitrarekha is not unmuting.
Sir,
Okay.
I'm unmuting, sir.
Yeah, there you are.
Yes, sir.
Continue reading.
Darshanaani अस्ति कान् अस्ति कि भेदना द्विधा विभजायन्ते इति वयं जानीमः.
Where you went? I'm trying to track where you went.
Sir, Darshanani.
We are reading Bharatiya Darshananam Vikasaha. And
Bharatiya Darshanam
Vikasaha.
Bharatiya Darshanani.
No, in that we are going to this Bharatiya Darshananam Vikasaha, and Antarartha Grahanam is the sentence where you have to continue. Okay, leave it, Bhagini. I think
I'll read from first or first.
No. We can't waste time going back. Leave, Bhagini. Don't worry.
Drushanam from there I'll read.
No, Bhagini, I don't know where you are. It's not where we are. Okay.
Sir, can I continue, sir?
Okay. Niranjana is back from the door. Meanwhile, continue,
okay, sir,
Bhagini.
afterwards I'll read.
We will see, Bhagini, definitely. Niranjana, you read.
Okay.
अन्तरार्थग्रहणं विवरणाधारेण अनुभावद्वारा
Sorry.
प्रयोगः असङ्गत विषयानिवारणम् असङ्गत विषय निवारणम् इत्यादः अनन्तरकाले प्रचलन्ति. Sorry.
Okay, so no problem. There is a little struggle. So antarartha grahanam. Okay, basically the Gudartha. Antarartha is in the sense of Gudartha. What is the inner secret message or the tatparya in these sutras? That is the Antarartha Grahanam. Vivarana Adharena. That means we use based on the explanation, sentence of explanation, and Anubhava Dwara through experienced. Basically, for example, for grammar, you can say Anubhava Dwara is we know the forms of the word. So through that Anubhava, like that, Prayoga. Asangata Vishaya Nivaranam. What is this Asangata? Removing unrelated matters. Okay. So not what is projectable. No, somebody will, take one Krishna's one statement and go around the earth explaining it. Sometimes it goes into Asangata Vishaya. So that those things and all are not high quality works. So that a good quality work will not go into unapplicable areas.
Unrelated areas.
Unrelated areas. See, so important. So these words are little tough, but they are very important. Okay. So Gudartha Grahanam, Vivaranam Datavyam, Anubhavaha Yadasti. Artat Loka Bhasha Yadasti Tasya Svikaraha. Tena Kinchit Atra Katham Paninina Likitam Atra Kimapi Anyatha Bhavati Loke Vartikamekam Likhami. Evam asti chet पाणिनिना यथोक्तं तथा न एवं भवितव्यम् इति किमपि कार्यगण्डं स्थापनीयम् एतत्
पूर्वपक्षसिद्धान्तशैल्या सर्वाश संग्रहरूपाणि भाष्याणि निर्मितानि भवन्ति.
So using Purva Paksha Siddhanta Shaili. What is this Purva Paksha Siddhanta Shaili? Basically, whenever you want to propose something according to Nyaya Shastra rules, okay, there is a way to argue your case. Okay, how do you argue your case? First, you state what the opposing statement is, what you are contrasting. Okay, you are arguing what is not. So that whatever is not, you state it first, saying te vadanti evam blah blah blah. Tatha na kimartam evam. Like this, you have to go. So some argument procedure is there. So that Purva Paksha is placement of the argument of the opposition, and that is the style of the establishing Siddhantas. Okay. So Sarvamsha Sangraha Rupani. All the points, for example, if one Panini Sutra, every applicable and non-applicable areas, 360-degree analysis has to be done, okay, and stated. So that kind of explanation is called a bhashya. So examples for favoring the filtered output from the sutra and examples opposing that filtered output. For example, so Panini may say only when such and such letter is present afterwards. Then an example in a bhashya, an example will be given. What happens in the real world when that letter is not present afterwards? What is the new form that will be there, not the form according to this sutra? That also will be shown. Basically, where the sutra is deviating from is also shown. So this kind of thing is you can only see in Mahabhashya and places like that, or Kashika Vritti, like that you see.
Esha Trutiyavastha.
This is the third stage. So first we have the Veda, then we have the Sutra Granthas, or you can call it Darshanika Granthas. Then we have the Vartika Granthas. Then we have the Bhashya Granthas.
भाष्यस्य टीकाटिप्पण्यादयः व्याख्यानादयः यदा प्रचलन्ति तदा नूतनाः विचारधाराः अपि दर्शनप्रवाहे समाविष्टाः भवन्ति.
So even Bhashyam further, some people, because there are more and more, as generations and generations became dumber, we need more and more explanations. So others have written commentaries and Tippani is literally like, for example, there is a Samastapada used by Patanjali, which is not easily accessible. Though somebody breaks down that Samastapada and explains what is the interpretation of the Samastapada according to the Bhashyakara, like that kind of thing, and Vyakhyana, further detailed treatises, etc. Nutana Vicharadaraha. For example, we know in the Vyakarana Parampara, after Patanjali's Bhashya, okay, Mahabhashya it is called. The next great step in Vyakarana was when Siddhanta Kaumudi, yeah. When Siddhanta Kaumudi was proposed, okay, where actually he reordered the verses of Panini to help the prakaranas. So that is prakarana process. So you can say there is a new vicharadhara there, not just focused on compressing the sutras, but focused on understanding the sutras in a different order. So that kind of growth of knowledge, like that.
Evam kalanugunam nutana
amshanam.
Oh yeah. Nutana amshanam parigrahanena parivardhanam eva bharatiya darshananam vaishishtyam.
So, though I am using more and more grammar Vyakarana based examples, but you can see similarity will be there if you take Brahma Sutra lineage, if you take Yoga Sutra lineage, similar works will be there. Okay. Because I, as a Sanskrit student, are more focused on the Bhasha Jnana, I am using the parallel of Vyakarana Shastra. Vyakarana Shastra, in fact, if you go into Vyakarana Shastrakaras, they argue Vyakarana itself is a darshana and the goal of Vyakarana is moksha. They see their own work as the pinnacle path towards moksha. Okay. It's okay. We will permit them that viewpoint, but they play a very important role because without a good Vyakarana, what is the use of ancient granthas? If India is the one country that has kind of kept alive the knowledge of millennia ago in text. Thanks
Shabda,
to the
understanding of the Shabda, the original Shabda.
Yes.
Sir, can I read, sir?
Please read the next segment.
Okay, sir. सिद्धान्त रूपण समये एकस्य दर्शनस्य अन्य दर्शनानि पूर्वपक्षः भवन्ति.
This is what we argued. Other darshanas became the purva paksha for the later darshanas.
Okay, sir. एतस्य तात्पर्यम् एतत् न यत् एतत् दर्शनम् अन्य दर्शनानि निन्दति तिरस्करोति वा इति.
Just because we established a Purva Paksha statement from another mata doesn't mean we are totally trying to abuse or reject, etc. We are placing a counter argument. Eventually, if somebody believes the Purva Paksha statement is more accurate, that's fine. That's up to them to use that. Yes.
यथा सांगय दर्शनस्य वेदांत दर्शनम पूर्वपक्षः.
So for Sankhya Darshana, Vedanta Darshana becomes Purva Paksha. Actually, it is the other way around. Vedanta Darshana use Sankhya Darshana as Purva Paksha and, like that. Or Charvaka Darshana as Purva Paksha, like that.
Tena Vedanta Darshanasya Maulye na Nyunata.
So if somebody today wants to re-argue some points of Sankhya and oppose the Vedantic observation, that is not making Vedanta any less. That is just another viewpoint, highly acceptable because it has been using the Nyaya Shastra methods, it has been deployed.
Yevam Paramata Anikaranam.
No. Yevam Paramata Nirakaranam.
Nirakaranam, sorry sir. Paramata Nirakaranam Kevalam Siddhya Anantasya. Siddhyanantasya.
Ananta is not there, Bhagini. Siddhantasya.
Siddhantasya Spashtartha Kriyate.
Spashtatartham Kriyate.
Spashtatartham Kriyate. Natu Paramata Dushanartham.
So we don't you deploy this Purva Paksha and Uttara Paksha technique to abuse any other mata, but to clarify our own mata. Like that.
विचारस्य उपस्थापनार्थ प्रायः सर्वाणि अपि दर्शनानि न्यायशास्त्रक्रमम् एवम् अनुसरन्ति.
Eva anusaranti. So
Eva
just as been stating
anusaranti.
repeatedly, they propose this arguments of points using Nyaya Shastra methods. So Nyaya Shastra, though it is called Nyaya Darshana over there, it becomes a Shastra Grantha. What is the difference between Darshana Grantha and Shastra Grantha? Shastra Grantha is a technical Grantha which helps you to helps you in a certain way. For example, Nyaya Shastra helps you in placing arguments. Vyakarana Shastra helps you in constructing meaningful sentences and inferring the other sentence written by others. Like this, right? So, for example, Sankhya Shastra establishes the Vastu Pramana. I mean, what are the various objects of the world, Prakriti, Pratyaya, all the Prakriti, sorry, not Pratyaya, Prakriti, Paramatma, or Atma only. They call it Purusha there. So, those aspects are understood from that. Now, somebody has already done it. You can now extend from that and say, hey, there is something beyond just Purusha. There is this Tattva called Paramatma. It's up extension finally. Sankhya didn't want to go there. That's all. Thanks, Bhagini. Well done.
Thanks.
Who else? Is there a volunteer? Kumuda Kannan, yeah, please.
यद्यपि दर्शनानां सिद्धान्तेषु मतभेदः अस्ति तथापि तानि जगतः सत्यत्वं जगतः कालदेशकार्यकारणभावनित्यत्वं नियतत्वम् आत्मनः अस्तित्वं कर्मनियमः जन्मान्तरप्राप्तिः संसारः मोक्षः प्रमाणानि इत्यादिषु अंशेषु सामान्यचिन्तनं तु कुर्वन्ति एव.
Okay, now what this whole complex statement, Bhagini read it well, it's not easy. So, but the complex statement, what is simply saying is that there is a lot of commonality. They are trying to give the same answer. Everybody is attempting the same answer. Better life, better afterlife, etc. Nothing. Okay. So, though there are obviously differences of opinions between these various Siddhantas, but in certain senses, like the truth of this world, okay, the karma, karya karana bhava is roughly you can call it as karma philosophy, okay, kala desha karya karana bhava niyatatvam, the certainty of cause and effects and times and regions, okay, this kind of thing. Okay, even today we see these things in the world. Atmanah astitvam, the reality of this presence of something called Atma beyond the Sharira. Karma niyamaha, that's, you can say it's a different viewpoint of this. So even by our past actions will have present results or future results. That is the karma niyama. Karya karana is almost instantaneous, like Vartamana Kala, and Karma Niyama is past to present to future bridge of the same thing. Janmantara Praptihi, the circle of death and life and death of this Atma. I mean, Atma will get new bodies. Samsaraha, the progress of the Atma in this body from birth to death through the life. That is called Samsara. Okay. And then Moksha, the potential to escape from this Janmantara Prapti through exit called Moksha. A good philosophy to have. Pramanani, the method of proofs, basically, we argued Pratyaksha, Anumana, all those things. So in all these aspects, they are common. They are all based 95% on common philosophies. So they can't differ too much finally. The truths are what they are. The realities are what they are. But slightly different conceptual viewpoints. One argues you are fully the God, and when you go get moksha, you will completely get merged in God and you will lose your identity of this Atma and all that. You become the Paramatma. Some argue, no, Paramatma is a super force. We cannot explain that just because we have a little piece called Atma, we cannot say that this piece called Atma is omnipotent like Paramatma. We can only be subservient. This argument, like these variations. But all the variations are about the paramatmic aspects. There is not much difference in the iha about this loka. They believe in the karma philosophy, all those things.
Different paths to the same goal.
Correct. Continue, Bhagini.
एतेषां दर्शनानां कारणतः एव भारतम् इदानीम् अपि जगद्गुरुस्थानम् अर्हति.
I don't know about this. 1 minute, 1 minute. There is an aeroplane going across my house. Okay. It reminds us we live in Bengaluru. Wars are around. So, because of these darshanas, some Jagadguru Sthanam, leave it alone. Okay. All right. So, it's a viewpoint. It's enough if we learn ourselves all these things and claim other things. So there is a nice visual on top. Somebody has really done good work, some Vijay and Raghavan. So, it's interesting. So I threw this visual in 6 elements of Indian philosophy, these 6 darshanas. And then, the Nastika darshanas, see Buddhism, Jainism, something called Ajivika, Jnana, all those he brings in there. Then some sub-schools. Basically, these are the Astika sub-schools. Okay. So, yeah, interesting.
Mahodaya,
Huh.
अहं वयं पठामः तत्र एक त्रुटि अस्ति अरहत् नास्ति अरिहन्त सम्यक् अस्ति
जैनमते वा अत्र अरिहन्त इति वा Arhan, they call Arhan as a philosophy, no? So Arhata Darshanam. There is a concept called Arhan.
आम् सत्यं किन्तु सिद्धपुरुषाः अरिहन्तः.
Oh, those who kill the enemies, which are enemies being the Indriya related enemies.
Yeah.
Very good. Arihant, yeah.
Albert Einstein, he had said that if I ever get a rebirth, I want to be born as Jain, in the Jain yoni. Reason being, it's the most scientific way of explaining the truth. Jain Dharma.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Okay, so we will take a break now. Okay. So I will take a 4-minute break and come back and finish off the Sutrakara reading. Basically, the same very Sutrakaras that we just read, Gautama, Kanada, Shamidam. Kanadam is the alternative for Vaisheshika Darshanam. Okay. Okay. We will take a break now, 4-5 minutes. So we'll gather back in 4-5 minutes. Okay. Welcome back. So, Samskrita Granthakara Parichaya. There is opportunity for few more to read, but to be quick, I will just proceed with this. Please kindly excuse me. Sutrakaraha. So, the Astika Darshanas that we saw earlier, the Shad Darshanas. So, for them, the Pravartakas of those who initially proposed and initial the first texts related to this darshana. So Gautama, Nyaya Sutranam Pravartakaha, Gautama. Nyaya Darshanasya Adharaha, Nyaya Sutrani eva. So the basis for Nyaya Darshana is Nyaya Sutras, text called Nyaya Sutra. Then the guy iti. So it's called Akshapada. Interesting name. Vedaha, Upanishadaha, Mahabharatam, Ityadishu Granteshu, Yadyapi Tarkashastrasya Moolabhutaha Amshaha Drishyante, Tathapi Tasya Shastrasya Vyavasthitam Swarupam Gautamena Eva Kalpitam. So here and there we can infer the methodologies also outlined in Nyaya Sutra, but they are so sparse and spread around, difficult to see them as one thing in one container. So Gautama, by establishing the methodologies of proving, put them all in one place. So we call his work, Nyaya Sutra, as the Prathama Sthara. Gautamaha पञ्चाशदधिकशततमे क्रिस्ताब्दे आसीदिति भाव्यते. सो 19 centuries ago. Okay. प्रभासक्षेत्रे सोमशर्मा नाम ब्राह्मणः आसीत्. So in an area called Prabhasakshetra, some easterly region, I guess. Okay. Somasharma नाम कश्चन ब्राह्मणः आसीत्. ब्रह्मपति यः गच्छन् अस्ति सः ब्राह्मणः. तस्य चतुर्षु पुत्रेषु ज्येष्ठः एव गौतमः. सो द एल्डेस्ट सन इज गौतम इति ब्रह्मांड पुराणात् ज्ञायते. These are also ancient Puranas, right? So more closer to the actual knowledge of these people. You can find quotations from these other ancient texts. So thankfully, so somehow somebody has decided to annotate his janma pravrutti there. Thanks. Gautamena rachitanam न्यायसूत्राणाम् आधारेण एव न्यायशास्त्रं शाखोपशाखा रूपेण प्रवृद्धम. There are many branches and upashakhas, sub branches of न्यायशास्त्र that promulgated, or some such word is there in English. Basically, they continue to expand as like a tree expands from Gautama's stem or root, you can say, which is Nyaya Sutra. सर्वशास्त्रकाराः अपि स्वसिद्धान्तस्य प्रतिपादनार्थं न्यायशास्त्रचिन्तनम् अवलम्बन्ते एव कर्तरि. Okay, so all the other proponents of different shastras, for their own siddhanta, establishing their own siddhanta. Siddhanta means their own principle. Okay, position. They followed the Nyaya Shastra methodologies. So that's about Gautama. So something is known about his life. This is interesting. Prabhasa kshetre Somasharma nama brahmanasya jyeshta putrah eshaha iti brahmanda purane suchitam asti. Kanadaha. इदानीं न्यायशास्त्रं यद् दृश्यते तत् एकादशशताब्दात् पूर्वं न्यायदर्शनं वैशेषिकदर्शनं चेति द्विधा विभक्तम् आसीत्. What is today न्यायशास्त्र is kind of a combined effect of Vaisheshika and original Nyaya. Kanada is the proposer of Vaisheshika Darshana, which is you can say another side of Nyaya Darshana. Okay, so before 11th century. Okay, because as we know, 11th century there is this Navina Nyaya, all those things and all that. Okay, Vaisheshika Darshanasya pravartakah eva Kanadaha. Okay, Kanadena Vaisheshika Sutrani Rachitani. So the Vaisheshika Sutras are attributable to him. Vaisheshika Darshana is a Darshana philosophy based initially on the Vaisheshika Sutras. Etesham Vaisheshika Sutranam Adharene eva Vaisheshika Darshanam Pravruddham. So what is the difference between Darshana and Sutra? Sutra tends to be the first summarized assimilation of the Darshanic thoughts. That's how we can go. And then, other, there may be growth documents on top of that. We have seen that. Vritti, Vartika, Bhashya, Tika, Tippani, etc. keeps growing. Okay. विशेषः इति पदार्थः कश्चन अङ्गीकृतः इत्यतः एतत् वैशेषिकम् इति उच्यते. So there is a certain aspect called special, distinct. There is a material called special or distinct. That kind of philosophy has been understood. So this philosophy is called Vaisheshikam. Sankhya Shastram Prachinam. ततः एतस्मिन् शास्त्रे विशेषः अस्ति इत्यतः एतत् वैशेषिकम् इति केषाञ्चित् अभिप्रायः. Some argue Sankhya Shastra is ancient, and in this new Shastra called Vaisheshika, there is something special beyond what Sankhya argues, so it is called Vaisheshika. Like that, it has been named Vaisheshika to stand apart from Sankhya, is the opinion of some others about how it is called Vaisheshika. Names, are mysterious. So our philosophy always dig behind names, saying why that name. So they are trying to explain why that name. विशेषः इति पदार्थः कश्चन अङ्गीकृतः इत्यतः एतत् वैशेषिकम् इति उच्यते. कॉपी कैट. So we'll skip to this paragraph. Kanadaha Saptama Shatakat Purvamasit iti Panditaha Vadanti. So 7th century, before 7th century, we don't know for sure beyond that. क्षेत्रस्थान कणान धान्यानि संगृह्य एषः अत्ति खादति स्म इत्यतः एतस्य नाम कणादः. So this his name is constructed out of kana and at adbhakshane dhatu, adbhakshane, if I remember. So the latlakara rupa of that is atti, which simply is a parallel for khadati. So kanadaha, one who eats grains. Okay. Iti jatamiti katha prasiddha. There is a story, folklore about his name. Kanadasya tapasa santushtaha bhagavan ishvaraha ulūka rūpena agatya shastram upadishtavan ityatah kanada darshanam aulukya darshanam ityapi prasiddham asti. Sakshat Ishvara. This Ishvara could be Shiva, or it could be Parameshwara also. Ulūka rūpena, in the form of a owl. Okay, he came and gave this upadesha to Kanada. So this is called Aulukya Darshanam also. Okay, is the another famous folklore story around this Kanada. Interesting. Entertainment for us to read about all this. Paramanuhu dvyanukam tryanukam ityadini nirupitani santi kanadena. So in Kanada, so maybe the word kana also comes from paramanu also. That sense, kana means a small piece, right? So you can argue that also. But anyway, paramanuhu dvyanukam tryanukam. So he argues about materials having a atomic form, a dual atomic form, triple atomic form, the molecular forms you can conclude. But he argued like that. There is a fundamental. So if you see there is this piece of iron, he argues that there is a principal element which is called paramanu of this iron, and this whole piece is a collection of those paramanus, is his argument.
Yes,
Interesting insight into the material aspects of things.
it's basically the nucleus and the electrons.
No, it doesn't go into nucleus electron. Maybe it's about atomic view. Yeah.
Yes. In the atom, you have the nucleus and the electrons.
Yeah, that is something that is modern physics. Yeah. Okay. Jaiminihi. So that is about Kanada. Jaiminihi. Mimamsa Shastrasya Mooladharaha Mimamsa Sutrani. Okay, again, so Sutra is the basis of the Shastra. Nothing new there. So this kind of sentences are easy for you to kind of use as one sentence for every single author and the Shastra also. So use this. Tani Jaimini Maharshina Virachitani Vedartha Vicharam Puraskritya Pravrittam Shastram Mimamsa Shastram. So using Vedartha, Artha, Vedantana, remember, Vedartha Vicharam. Okay, Vedanta Vicharam is Uttara Mimamsa. Okay, Vedartha Vicharam is largely about Karma Kanda, Vedartha. Puraskritya Pravrittam Shastram, Mimamsa Shastram, Etat Purva Mimamsa Shastram Ityapi Uchyate. See, Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa are Paryayas. Uttara Mimamsa Nama Vedanta Shastram. Jaiminehe Purvam api Aneke Sutrakaraha Asaniti Jaimini Grantadeva Jnayate. So it's not like he was the first, but for us, he is the first because that's what we have. Jaiminehe Kala Vishaye Idamittam iti kathanam kashtasadyam eva. Difficult to tell his time. Jaiminihi Badarayanasya abhiprayam swasutreshu ullikhati. So Jaimini's work seems to even have the opinion of Badarayana, who was the Pravartaka of Uttaramimamsa. So there is some Samakalinatva, etc. is inferable from this. Badarayana api tathaiva. Even Badarayana quotes Jaimini. So they're mutually referencing. Okay, interesting. Atah tau ubau api samakalino iti kaischit uha kriyate. So there must be two schools that were working on different aspects of interpreting Vedas. One focused on the Purva part, another focused on the Uttara part. Some Guru-Shishya relationship or something was there. Kristashaka Ashtashate Jaimine Ashtashatam. Kristashaka Ashtashatam जैमिनेः कालः स्यादिति ऊहा कृता अस्ति. So 700, 800, these are the inferences for us. Not very old, if you notice. Only 1.2, 1.3 millennia ago. जैमिनेः जीवनविषये अधिकं किमपि न ज्ञायते. भागवतं वदति. Oh, there is some reference in Bhagavata about Jaimini. व्यासः वेदं चतुर्धा विभज्य सामवेदं जैमिनिम् उपदिष्टवान्. So there is a reference to some Jaimini Muni who was given the Diksha for Samaveda. In fact, there is a Jaimini parampara, etc. within one of the sub-branches of Samaveda. So yeah, maybe the same Jaimini was the Pravartaka of Purvamimamsa is the argument. Okay. That is about Jaimini. Next we have Badarayana. This is Uttaramimamsa or Vedanta. So Vedanta Shastreshu Prasthanatrayam Suvikyatam, we saw this earlier. Tani cha Prasthanani Prathamam Upanishadaha, Dvitiyam Bhagavad Gita, Tritiyam Brahma Sutrani cha iti. Brahma Sutrani is a collection, is one Brahma Grantha. Brahma Sutrani Badarayena Rachitani. So we know Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata and it is Vyasa Likitam. Upanishads, unknown authors, but references to some guru names are there as part of the Upanishads. And yeah. Badarayana iti Bhagavataha Veda Vyasasya aparam nama. So, okay, now we get clarity. So Badarayana is another name for Veda Vyasa only. So interesting. Sometimes we argue like this. This Vyasa is a title. Okay, Vyasa is called as a title. Just like Vasishta Muni is one Vasishta Muni was there as the Vasishta Guru for all the various Surya Vamsha Pravartakas, like including Dasharatha, Rama, Raghu, Dilipa. The belief is that, of course, we try to call their, deathless, long-lived people. But the belief is that that's one lineage. There was a Guru Parampara, just like the Raja Parampara was there. And they were all known as Vasishta lineage people, like that. That's how we can say. But the word Vyasa himself means that one who analyzes is the word Vyasa constructed.
Sir, one question please.
Sir,
Badarayana is the actual name of Besho, sir?
Badarayana is the actual name of?
Besh.
Vyasa. Vyasa. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Badarayana is basically another title to Vyasa, maybe, or so that's why because there are so many Vyasas, we use Badarayana Vyasa, maybe. Okay. He's called Veda Vyasa because he also distinguished Vedas into 4 segments and tried to spread the workload of carrying them forward to different sub-schools. Just like we learned Samavedas, one branch was given to Jaimini, like that. Upanishad.
Another name of Vaishnava is Badarayana. Okay.
Upanishad Vakyeshu Apatataha Yaha Virodhabhasaha Drishyate Tam Parihritya Samanvaya Purvakam Tattva Nirnayam Karoti Brahma Sutrakaraha. So Upanishad Vakyeshu Apatataha Yaha Virodhabhasaha Drishyate. So basically the potential opposition statements seen from looking at one Upanishad and another Upanishad. You can argue there is some kind of opposition views emerging. Okay.
So here it is apatataha, sir.
Apatataha means in a detailed way.
Okay.
Virodhabhasaha means opposing views. Viruddha.
Okay.
Virodha. Okay. Apatataha means in a comprehensive way. Tasil pratyaya. Okay. So Upanishad Vakyeshu apatataha yaha virodhabhasaha drishyate tam parihritya. Apatataha means those which befall to us, maybe that sense, but I think it is in a comprehensive sense. Okay. Parihritya, having resolved those, Samanvaya Purvakam Tattva Nirdayam Karoti Brahma Sutrakaraha. So he tries to extract the essence of the tattvas of these various Upanishads, etc. and try to provide them in his sutra philosophy. Okay, that is Brahma Sutra. ब्रह्मसूत्राणां रचनायाः अनन्तरं वेदान्तस्य दर्शनत्वेन मान्यता प्रवृद्धा. So the Brahma Sutra gave this darshanika title to Vedanta. So Badarayana's Brahma Sutra is the first sutra grantha which proposed this Vedantic schools, from which many Vedantic sub-schools are born. दशाधिकानां भाष्याणां प्रवृत्तौ अपि ब्रह्मसूत्राणि एव मूलम्. Even though there are tens and tens, again, more than 10 bhashyas, okay, Brahma Sutra is the, you can call is the origin. Bhashya sahayam vina Brahma Sutranam arthasya jnanam sarvata dushkaram. At least Yoga Sutras, no, there is some, after reading the Vyakhana, if you read back the Sutra, you can say something, oh, you can say, hey, that is a nice compact Sutra. Or for example, after understanding Shutva Sandhi, you can go back and say, oh, Stos Chunas Chuhu, such a beautiful Sutra, like that. So you can. Even us simpletons can do that, but you can't do that with Brahma Sutras. Extremely compact. Badarayanasya kalaha kristashaka chatushatam syaditi itihasajnaha biprayanti. So 1600. This is all very variable numbers.
Mahodaya,
Yes.
So is this Jaimini was in 800 CE and Badrayana is in 400 CE. So how they could be Samakali now?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Bada Samaka, the Uha. So you can see the variations already.
But 800 and 400.
Yeah. So you can see the Virodhabhasa even in this textbook.
Okay.
This is called Virodhabhasa.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll accept this Virodhabhasa and move forward.
Yeah.
महोदय,
Badarayanasya.
अहं मन्ये गोत्रपत्रम् अस्ति न, that hierarchy. So maybe this was another one, like his descendant who did it, and that's why there's
No, but here it clearly says Jaiminihi Badarayanasya abhiprayam swasutreshu ullikati Badarayana api tataiva.
He's mentioned it as
So it is the same
Badarayana.
Badarayana being referred here.
Okay.
So Mahodaya is absolutely accurate. There is a Virodhabhasa here. We'll take it and move forward because everything is Uha Poha here. One thing I can definitely conclude, can't be the past 1,000 years because we were in decline. Must be before that. Very few great works have happened in the past 7-8 centuries, but largely they are Vyakhyanas to help us. They have kept the tradition alive through Vyakhyanas. For example, works of Kalidasa was detailed Vyakhyana was done by Mallinatha, and one more Rishi type of person in the Vijayanagara Empire. He kept the Vedas alive by writing Vyakhyanas of Vedic Granthas. What is his name? Sayana.
Kashika.
Sayana Maharshi, we owe a lot. And Sayana Maharshi was just 6-7 centuries ago, as close as Vijayanagara Empire. If Sayana Maharshi had not done his work, we may have lost many Vedic texts actually. Anyway, so sometimes more than their Vyakhyana, the Moola that is kept alive by them through their Vyakhyana is how we thank them. For example, all the Katyayanas Vartikas are only known through Patanjali, not through Katyayana's Grantha, like that. Badarayanasya Kalaha Kristashaka, what is happening to my mouse? Must be battery is going down. Badarayanasya Kalaha Kristashaka Chatushatam Syaditi Itihasajnaha Abhiprayanti. Akhandam Vedarashim Chaturda Vibhaktavan ityatah etasya Vedavyasah ityapi namak jatam. Etasya kulam eshaha shlokaha vivrunoti. Vyasam vasishtanaptaram shakteh pautramakalmasham parasharatmajam vande shukatatam taponidhim. So he is the son Naptara. Okay, Parasharatmajam. So Parasharasya putraha. So his father is Parashara Munihi. Okay. Then Vasishta Naptara. He is the grandson of Vasishta, Pautra. Okay, Shakti, Pautra. Naptara is what? Vasishtah Vyasasya Prapitamaha, even beyond Pautra. Okay.
Great grandson.
So, great grandson of Vyasa is the great grandson of Vasishta and the grandson of Shakti. I mean, Shakti Maharshi. Okay. Then he is the son of Parashara and he is the father of Shukamuni. Just yesterday or day before yesterday evening, our Guru Varya in our evening classes told one very Swarasya Yukta Katha about Shukamuni and Vyasa. Interesting. Okay. So, because of this verse that is prevalent, we kind of know a little bit about this lineage of these various rishis. Just as there was lineage of kings, there was lineage of great rishis also, thankfully, alongside them. The knowledge, what do you call intelligentsia. Yeah. So Vyasam Vasishtanaptaram Shaktehe Pautram Akalmasham, one without any defects. Parasharatmajam Vande Shukatatam Taponidim. This one is there as part of the Stuti shlokas of when before we take on Mahabharata reading, etc. We read this.
But sir, this gives an impression that Badrayana and Vasishta, Vyasa are the same.
Same lineage.
एतस्य कुलम एषः श्लोकः विवृणोति. So
एतस्य kulam, that means kula means his lineage. Basically kula means the you can call it as maybe, may not be. Naptara doesn't necessarily mean direct parental lineage, but in the Pitra lineage, maybe great grand Peripa, like that. I don't know how to say Peripa. Okay, Doddappa, that type of thing. We don't know.
Okay.
Bharataha Alankara Shastre Upalabhyamaneshu Pratamah Grantaha Natya Shastra. Oh, very nice. Now what they have done, they have deviated from all this Shastra to something more practical. Because arts, if there was no arts, what would have been? So Bharata is the Muni, Pravartaka of arts, according to us. Alankara Shastre Upalabhyamaneshu Pratamah Grantaha Natya Shastram. So his Natya Shastra is the progeny of all the other things that ensued. Etasya Rachayita eva Bharata Munihi. नाट्यशास्त्रम यद्यपि प्राधान्येन नाट्य संगीताभिनयान् विवृणोति तथापि तत्र छन्दांसि रसाः अलङ्काराश्चापि प्रतिपादिताः एव. It's a magnum opus that talks about dance, talks about music, talks about acting, that is stage play, and also about kavya, chanda, rasa, alankaras, etc. So both the texts that were needed to do the dance, Sangeeta, Abhinay, etc., how to create them, and actually how to do all those things. Very, very grand text in a compact way. Natya Shastrasya Kalaha, though it is called Natya Shastra, it is more than Natya Shastra. That's what they are saying. Natya Shastrasya Kalaha Krista Purva Dvishatam Krista Shaka Trishatam Etayoho Madhye. अर्थात 500-year range is given. कदाचित् स्यादिति विमर्शकाः अभिप्रयन्ति. भरतः स्वपुत्रान् नाट्यशास्त्रं नाट्यप्रयोगाञ्च बोधितवान् इति कथा श्रूयते. So he taught this to his own sons. Interesting. Okay. विभावानुभाव व्यभिचारी संयोगात् रसनिष्पत्तिः इत्येतस्य नाट्यशास्त्रस्थस्य रससूत्रस्य आधारेण रससम्प्रदायः प्रवृत्तः. So he talks about this feeling of rasa. Rasa being the type of mental feelings that are produced in the perceiver, the reader, the perceiver, the seer, whatever. Okay. So So he analyzes that vibhava, anubhava, vyabhichari samyogat. So very technical, will not go there. So vyabhichari bhava may be something about, opposition type of opinion that emerges in us when we something. Anubhava is the resonating feeling that emerges in us when we see something. Vibhava may be a variant that we, something like that. Vibhava, Anubhava, Vyabhichari Bhava, Samyogat, Rasa Nishpati. So these resonant, variant, and opposing feelings that come together in a cauldron, they create the rasas. Like that is his argument. So he is trying to, just like we say color is red, green, blue composition. So he's having his own component view of what is rasa. Okay, Natya Shastra tasya, but we can agree with this, you see. When we have a sattvika bhava in us, we resonate with something that is also sattvika. We do not, we have an opposition to violence, so we do not resonate with it. But another person with a violent outlook may like that. We see many people love watching horror movies, etc. So this is, I agree with this. Just like we have sattva, raja, guna triangle, there is this vibhava, anubhava, vyabhichari bhava in rasa. Beautifully stated, very, very thoughtfully put down by Bharata. इत्येतस्य नाट्यशास्त्रस्थस्य रससूत्रस्य आधारेण रससम्प्रदायः प्रवृत्तः. So he gave birth to रससम्प्रदाय amongst the साहित्यकाराः later. नाट्यशास्त्रस्य बहूनि व्याख्यानानि सन्ति. Ultimate number of explanatory texts are available to us. Teshu Abhinavaguptasya Abhinava Bharati. This is a Kashmiri Pandit. Abhinavaguptasya Abhinava Bharati iti Vyakhyanam Suprasiddham. Bharatena Kevalam Chatvarah Alankaraha Nirupitaha Asan. Idanim Alankara Shastre Shathadikaha Alankaraha Drishyante. Hundreds of Alankaras are identified. Over classification has happened. He focused on 4 basic classification. Probably we will probably appreciate those because our simple brains can't wrap around hundreds, but we can wrap around a dozen. So maybe we'll identify that. All right, so that is Bharata. So with that we conclude reading of this lesson. Nice, tough it was. The last 2 sections were not easy in this one because it's very important subjects are addressed there. So let us answer this and conclude today. Etesham, you can I will raise your hands. I will call you one by one to address this question. Sudhir Varya, there is some sound coming through from your side.
Sir, please.
Alankaraha kati vidaha. I will ask Sudhir Varya only.
Alankaraha dividaha, sir.
They take dvividaha kete kaute kautau.
I forgot.
Artalankaraha chaiti. That's good. No problem. So so there's a simple enough for our needs, but I have a little bit more here. Pratamastare alankaraha dvivida yatha shabdalankaraha artalankaraha chaiti. Shabdalankare chekanuprasah vrityanuprasah yamakam ityadeh santi. Artalankare punah upama rupakam atishayoktihi artantaranyasah shleshah ityadah prabhedah santi. Very comprehensive. If there is a 3-mark question, this is what is needed. 1-mark question, enough what Mahodaya said. Okay. But 1-mark question, you can extend it to Shabdalankara, Hartalankara, Chaiti is useful to add. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. You can mute, sir, because there is some background sound coming. Niranjana, next question.
Luptopama naam ka. Upma lankare chatura bhaga santi. Upma upmeyam sadharana dharmaha vachaka ek
Upamavachaka
Upamavachaka.
Upamanam upameyam. Upama iti na upamanam upameyam.
Upamanam upameyam sadharana dharmaha upamavachaka shabdah. एतेषु एकः अपि नास्ति चेत् लुप्तो मा
लुप्तोपमा इति उच्यते सामान्यतया साधारणधर्मः वा उपमावाचकशब्दः वा न भवति तथा otherwise it's difficult to identify upama also if the others are missing. Okay, very good. Luptopamayam samanya dharmah va upamavachaka shabdah va na bhavati. It's a more closer call, though the generic statement is one of them is absent, but usually one of these two is absent. Okay. Luptaha ataha adhyaharaniyaha bhavati. It is not present in the Kavi statement, so we have to infer it. It's not difficult to infer them. For example, Saundaryam, Shauryam. Okay. Tasyaha mukam chandraha iva. So what is this? Chandraha iva sundaram. Like that we have to take. Well done, Bhagini. Thanks. Next, let me call on Lakshmi Krishna Variye. Please read the next one and answer me. Lakshmi Krishna. Unmute yourself, Bhagini Lakshmi. Okay. Others put their hands away. I think I'll have to myself answer and reveal it. Kumuda Karnan.
दर्शनेषु के विचाराः भवन्ति दर्शनेषु वस्तु स्वभावानां च विषये चिन्तनं तत्त्वविचारः भवन्ति.
Very good. Very well said. See, actually, even the simple focus on tattva vicharaha bhavanti is also enough, but vastunam vishaye, jivanasya vishaye, like this you can extend a little bit nicely. Mukti vishaye, like this you can add. Beautiful. Okay. Darshaneshu tatvika chintanam artat pratyaksha paroksha vastunam भूजलादीनां जीवात्मादीनां च तेषां स्वभावानां च चिन्तनं तत्त्वविचारः भवति. Keep a few keywords and focus the answer around that. It's okay. There is not like one answer, but Bhagini's answer was very good. Thanks, Varye. So now we have
Sir, I will answer, sir. No?
Lakshmi Krishna has found the mute button.
Yes, sir,
Bhagini.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Fourth one, no, sir?
Fourth one.
जैन बुद्धादीन दर्शनानि बौद्धादीन दर्शनानि किमर्थं नास्तिक दर्शनानि इति उच्यन्ते. जैन बुद्धदीनानि नास्तिक दर्शनानि इति उच्यन्ते. किमर्थं
Why?
वेद प्रमाण्यं
न
अङ्गीकुर्वन्ति अतः तानि नास्तिक दर्शनानि
इति उच्यन्ते. Well done. Perfect, Bhagini. So that's keyword is Veda Pramanyam. Everything else you have to build a sentence out of your knowledge of grammar.
Yeah.
Jaina Bauddhadini Darshanani. Lot of clue is there in the question to put the rest of the words. Veda Pramanyam na svikurvanti angikurvanti iti te nastika darshanani iti ganayamaha atva uchyante. Like this.
Veda Pramanyam na angikurvanti.
Pramanyam. Well done. Next we have some fill in the blanks. Okay, we can do crowdsourcing. You guys can unmute. Okay, you guys can unmute and go because I think we can shout this out. Adho likita vakyeshu upamayaha amshan nirdishata. So some upama alankara statements are made and we have to call out who is who there. Lakshmi Deepashika iva chanchala. Upamanam
Deepashika.
So Deepashika is the other example that is brought in to explain Lakshmi. Okay. So Deepashika. Okay. So that is Upamanam. That is understood. Upameyam? Lakshmi. Very good. Okay. Vachakaha? Eva. Very good. Sadharana dharmaha? Chanchalatvam. Very good. Sanchalata or chanchalatvam. See here, Deepashika, it is like the light of a torch. Okay. So if you know when a torch is lit with a large fire supported by oil, in the wind, it is very wavy. Almost sometimes you get afraid it's going to go off or what like that. So here the Lakshmi here being the richness that we ourselves may have. So one should always remember this. Today we may feel rich, but it is chanchala, like Deepashika. So do not be entirely what you call mohita by that. Don't be deluded by that. Know that tomorrow if the rupee falls like Deepashika, our Lakshmi will also go down. Okay. Panditah Brihaspatihi iva buddhiman. Upamanam?
Brihaspati.
Brihaspatihi. Because he is the one brought in to explain a Pandita. Very good. Upameyam Panditah. Vachakah Iva. Sadharana dharma Buddhimatvam. Correct. Buddhimatvam. Buddhimata is also possible. Very good. Maharajah Kuberavad Dhanadyah. Kubera. Correct. Upamanam. Upameyam Maharaja. Vachakah Vat pratyayah. Don't write vat only, write vat pratyayah. Okay, because it's a pratyaya. Sadharana dharma Dhanadyatvam or Dhanikatvam. Or you can say Dhanam also. Okay. Dhanadyatvam, Dhanikatvam. You can use various. So a king is rich like Kubera. We believe Kubera holds all the riches there, no, for the Devas. Okay, there is a Parvata by his name, Kubera Parvata. Very trekkable. Okay. Been there, couldn't climb to the last portion, but yeah, it's a nice place. Okay, if you guys have the energy and the ability, you guys should trek in the Himalayas. Please don't ever, because that's the best part of India. Vigraham samasanama cha likhata. Okay, now I will individually source. I will mute all. You keep your hands up. I will individually source. Okay. Yeah, there are a few hands up. Those who have their hands up from old times, you be ready to answer anyway. Dhanamanav samasanama vigraham cha. So Kumuda Kannan.
Dhanam cha manam cha. Itaretara dvandva samasa.
Very good. Itaretara dvandva samasaha. Write the visarga also. Don't forget. Okay. Dhanancha manancha. If you don't know this, this what you call sandhi properly, write split also, no problem. Dhanam cha, manam cha, no problem. Okay. No need to do the sandhi. Okay. Thanks, Bhagini. Let me call Jayavarya. Nishadha deshaha.
निषधः इति देशः
Very good.
कर्मधारय समासः.
What kind of karmadaraya do you recall, Bhagini?
Sambhavana.
Sambhavana Purva. Because there are many deshas and one desha is Nishada desha. Bharata desha. Same way Nishada desha. Okay. Sambhavana Purvapada. It has been a while since we did this, but Bhagini has good memory. Well done. Sambhavana Purvapada. Why Karmadara is coming here? I think they are just because now we are going into common points about Samasa. They said, okay, let us throw some collection of Samasas at students. Interesting. This is more like the final exam.
To test more.
Yes. Padma Nagesh Varye. Next one.
Deshadhibah. Deshasya adhipah. षष्ठी तत्पुरुषः.
Deshasya adipah, deshadipah. Mondal Varya's family is very talkative. Hamsa Shrestha, I will call Sudhir Mondal Varya to answer.
Sir. Hamsoshu Shrestho.
Hamseshu Shrestha. Very good. What? Saptami Tatpurusha. Well done. Hamseshu Shrestha. Hamsa Shrestha. Amongst the Hamsas, the superior one. Okay. It's a technique. You'll slowly get this. Okay. when you look at the sambandha, what is Hamsa and what is Shrestha, what is the sambandha between them? So when what comes to our head, oh, the best of the Hamsas, so Adhikarana, Saptami. So amongst the Hamsas, the best, like that. That's how you go. Okay. Next we will call Anjana Varya is also unmuted. I think that is causing the sound. I'm blaming Sudhir Varya. Sorry. Sridevi Darisi Varya. Last one for you.
Simham.
Upasimham.
Simhasya samipe.
Samipam.
Simhasya samipam. Avyayi bhava samas.
Avyayi bhava. Correct. That's why samipam will come. Okay. So it's also called pradi samasa. We know the pradayas, pradis come as.
You have written samipe only, but
samipe only. Yeah, sorry. I think the Vigraha uses saptami.
Yes, sir. It gives.
It is always in Napunsakalinga.
No. That is Samastapadam only. Here in the book also.
Samastapadam is in Napunsakalinga.
See, upa is considered in a pradi sense that way, but finally the output result has to be avyaya. Okay. So avyayi bhava. Oh, simhasya samipe. Sorry.
Everywhere they give like that only. Sir.
Actually, simhasya samipam won't be wrong. Because sometimes we use Samipa Shabda both in Saptami and Dvitiya. Samipam Gacchati, like that, right?
Correct.
It won't be, you won't be colossally deviant. You won't be writing Samipasya at least. So that's okay. I will accept that Samipam also. Samipe seems to be the preferred in Vigraha. We'll stick to that. No problem. Okay. Good collection here. Good test of our knowledge here. So with that, we conclude our lesson, this one. So tomorrow we'll start with the new one. Okay. See you all tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.